fellow listeners, welcome again to another episode of the Gunpowder Banter. I'm your host, Casey, and joining me as always are Femi, Diesel, and Shoki. Again, it's just four friends, one shared obsession, and now it's our time to air our Arsenal grievances, considering what we just went through. I don't know, as an Arsenal fan, I guess we're always biased, right? We always expect that we're going to win every game. But the reality of the matter is there are going to be some games like this, and there are going to be some games where we're ecstatic like Leeds. But I don't know. Femi, what are your thoughts? I mean, you see this game. We come into this game and looking at the first three matches of the season, we can all say that Man City is probably not there. So the top two teams you expect that will win the league this season played today. So what were your impressions watching this game, Femi?
Okay. If you remember last week when we were talking predictions, I said 3-2 Arsenal, and that's because I don't want to put a draw into life and say that's what it is, right? But ultimately, what I thought was going to happen, and as the week went on, I just believed this was all set for a draw, and we were going to draw this game. That was what I thought going in, right? And then we go in, and then we see the lineup that we see, and it's clear that we're not playing to win, right? Right from the very get-go. It's clear that we're not playing to win. And at that point, it's kind of like, okay, so you're playing to draw. Well, no, because if you play to draw, essentially you're playing to lose. You're not playing some um backwater team or whatever. They're going to score. Liverpool is going to score. And if you want to be in the game with them, you also have to be prepared to score. And it seemed like Arteta was going in there with the most cautious mindset ever, which is something that he does all the time. And it's starting to get frustrating for me, right? Before the game, his his pre-match interview, he said, "Hey, I've been hammering it into the team. We have to have the belief. We have to believe that we can go to this place and we can do something and everything." It's kind of like, okay, that's what you're hammering into the team. But have you given yourself the same message? Because the lineup that he put was not a lineup that says, I believe we can go to Anfield and we can do something. The lineup was, let's go to Anfield and let's maintain as best as we possibly can. So he's saying one thing, but his actions in terms of the team that he's selecting and his lineup is saying something completely different. So to answer your question, I didn't think we're going to win this game. I don't have unrealistic expectations that we're going to win any game, but we have to at least try. And in many, many cases, Arteta puts out a lineup where it's clear that he's not trying to win, he's trying not to lose. And that's not how championships are won.
I mean, Namdi, what's your take on that? Because you listen to both managers at the post-match interview, right? And Arteta says that this is a game of fine margins, which would always, I'm paraphrasing here, which will be determined by either a moment of brilliance or an individual error, right? So are you saying that, and this is for you, Namdi, are you saying that this is a coach problem? Like, what are your impressions, general impressions
I mean,
about the game?
At the end of the day, the buck stops at the coach. So he decides the setup, the lineup, he decides what tactics he's going to play. Now, I'm not going to say that that team can't beat Liverpool, but that team is set up to contain. It's not really set up to press. I mean, they don't really press that well. Gyökeres is not as good as a presser as Havertz. Merino is not a good presser compared to Odegaard. And Merino is one of those guys where he's a solid midfielder. He's a solid midfielder. You're not sure if he's actually defensive or offensive. He scores goals.
He's just there.
He's there.
Just a solid player.
He's a solid
functional player.
Exactly. So he can play at 8. He can play 6 somehow. But he's not really a 6, but he's more of an 8. But he has defensive attributes. So you telling me that he's an attacking midfielder is not true. So,
you put him in the creative position.
Yeah, you put him there to win duels, and that's what he does. he's a good player. He can finish moves. That's one thing I like about him. You can see that he has the quality to finish moves. He does that for Spain. Does that for, I mean, we saw him when he debuted as our attacking, as our forward when there was nobody else. So he can finish. But you do not expect him to do any link-up play with anybody. Like he's not going to provide a killer pass to anybody. He's going to be there for set pieces. He's going to help you win the midfield battle and contain the midfield. The game was fine. It was finely balanced. And the team looked like they were set up to, stay in the game for as long as possible. And then later on, throw in a few wild cards here and there. Now, that could have been informed because of the injuries. Odegaard wasn't 100% fit, so I wasn't expecting him to start at all. What I anticipated was that maybe he would play Eze in that position, or he would play Ethan. But then at the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, this is Arteta. He's not going to do that. So when I saw Merino, I wasn't surprised. I was not surprised though. I actually thought that eventually he would introduce Ethan when, if depending on how the game state was, if it's finally balanced and you like 20 minutes to go, you throw in Ethan, but he didn't do that. Instead, he brought on Dalman. So I see why he did what he did. But like Femi said, you're not going to win the title if you're not brave. You have to make some brave decisions. But I guess in his head, he's like, okay, we don't lose to the big boys and we'll destroy the rest of the league. It's a sound strategy, but then you now leave yourself open to what he actually said in his post-match interview when he said fine margins. You have to control that aspect. Fine margins, high-quality players will kill you all the time. So,
Femi, you're shaking your head. It looks like you have something to add to that.
It really is what Namdi said, right? At the end of the day, right? Fine margins, sure. But was it really fine margins?
Dude, 9 out of 10 times he doesn't score that free kick. You know that.
Right. But then the question is, how did they get that free kick in that position?
Dude,
it was Zubimendi coming in late.
It's a tactical
taking
foul.
down and taking down Curtis Jones because we had seeded the midfield in that second half.
Yes.
So everybody can talk about the free kick, and the free kick was a worldie. Take nothing away from Szoboszlai. Nobody's saving that free kick for sure. But how did we give up that free kick? That's not the fine margins. That's the part where we're supposed to be good.
Femi,
and we gave it up, and we gave that up, and that's why they scored that goal.
Femi,
if there's no free kick, Szoboszlai is not in that position to score that free kick anyways at all. So why are we disregarding that part? I'm
not disregarding the part, but what I would say is that's a tactical foul. It happens in every game. Man City has been doing that.
That's the wrong position for a tactical
in that
foul.
position, not in that position.
That
yes,
position
they
was
do.
Wrong for a tactical
what are you
foul.
saying? What are you saying? He did that. So he played a risk. He calculated the risk and said, ain't no way this guy is going to score from 30 something yards out. He's not going to do that. So I can foul him here, take one for the team, stop the attack, and then let them play the free kick. They will not score.
But I'm not talking about Zubimendi's mindset in that moment. I'm talking about the fact that we gave up that midfield. We lost the midfield in the second half because we didn't have a set position that we were playing from.
Yeah,
right?
We didn't have people to rotate the ball well.
Correct.
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah. We couldn't move the ball. And so we ended up giving up the midfield in the second half. They controlled the midfield.
First half was all us. You know that,
Curtis
right?
Jones came in the 61st minute, and everything changed from that point on. We didn't have the midfield anymore. He was running in behind, getting in the balls, driving everything forward, and it seemed like we didn't have a midfield anymore at that point.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
So what should we have done?
So we can even blame. What did Arne Slot do when we controlled the first half when they didn't get the ball? He made changes. He brought in Curtis Jones, and then the midfield changed entirely. So now you're asking me what should we have done?
No, I'm asking you what...
We have a manager who's paid just like Arne Slot is.
Actually,
and he's supposed to make tactical changes.
He's actually paid more.
Right. Exactly.
He is.
So there's possibly a reason for everything, right? I think that the reason why we lost the midfield was because that right side was blowing. Timber got tired. Subimendi was blowing at some point too. And then you had the Marino thing where he was not very effective at closing down. And I think that going
He
to
doesn't have
Nami's
legs.
earlier point, I think that that is why he chose Marino over Nwaneri, for example, right? Because there's something about the press. You cannot expect in this day and age, in where we have right now, when Nwaneri is at the stage of development, you cannot expect Nwaneri to press Van Dijk as Erdegaard would have. So what do you do? Because if you think about
So
it,
why not?
Van Dijk is very good at moving the ball vertically, very quickly. So there is a benefit to being able to shut him down quickly. I don't think Nwaneri has the
Warner is quicker than
experience.
Merino.
But it's not about
It's not
speed.
about
It's
speed.
not about speed. It's about
Not about
experience. It's
speed.
about reading the game. There's so many things,
He
and that's
knows
why.
he knows where the passes will be, or where
Yeah,
there's a chance of a long pass here and there.
and there's a reason why Madiga conducts our press. If you watch him, he's always the one who's called, okay, let's press now, or he's kind of waving people. So I think number one, tactically, which is why that's why Marino was chosen. Now there's a drawback to that because of what happened in that midfield when he kind of switched things around. Because if you also look at positional change, when Curtis Jones came in, they were now almost like playing a 1-to-1 in the defense because they knew that there was no threat coming from us. They knew that Martinelli was not going to run anywhere. They could just put one person on him and he's shut down. And they knew also that
You don't even
in
need
the
to
middle,
put anybody.
Gyökeres was, even though it wasn't 2v1 again with Gyökeres. So they read that, and should Arteta have responded? Yeah, potentially. And that's why I asked you, like, how, what, from your perspective, right?
You
From
can
your
even
perspective,
say,
Oshoke,
Yeah,
how would he have tweaked that?
so you
What
can
should he
even
have done?
say that having Merino there, that lack of creativity is what got, like Femi said, that's what got Timber and Zubimendi tired because they were being too defensive. They were soaking up pressure instead of playing to Liverpool.
the ball.
So that was the issue. So when you see that, you bring in someone creative that can put pressure on Liverpool. We didn't put any pressure on them.
In the first half.
Where was it coming from? Madueke tried a little bit.
Madueke is the only person that put
but that
pressure
was
on
it.
the team.
And
everybody else was just soaking up pressure. Yes, they will get tired.
Yeah, fun fact: Madueke and Califero were they had the most goals, most shots on target.
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
On that same point, Casey. One thing I've not heard a lot of people talking about, and I was watching Match of the Day yesterday, and that's when this kind of occurred to me. In that team selection and what was entirely missing. We talk about fine margins, right? Fine margins. Our fine margins as Arsenal is set pieces. What we do with corner kicks, what we do with free kicks in those positions.
no in swingers.
We could not play. We could not play
in-swingers.
a single in swinger because of the team selection.
At least from
directly as a result
at least
of
from
that.
the right hand side.
From the right hand side,
Yeah.
they gave us 6 or 7 corners on that side, and they were happy to give it to us because they knew we're not going to do anything with it because we didn't have anybody to play from there. Those are the fine margins, and those are the fine margins from a managerial perspective that you should be able to see, because that's where our magic is. Our quote unquote our magic. That's where it's supposed to be.
That's one.
And then you essentially killed it.
And that's one thing I looked at it and I was like, okay, so you knew that we have left footers in the team. Why the hell didn't you train
Marino, Madueke? You mean none of them can play corner?
Train them for a week. You knew these guys were out. Train them for a week and see. You can't be expecting Rice to go left to come back here and then, because he was the only person that was delivering the corners.
You're trying to tell me that. Yeah.
And then on
crazy.
Martinelli's side, that was also a problem because Martinelli was posing no threat. So we weren't even getting corners from that side for Rice to even be doing in swingers from that side.
So
I'm sorry, I disagree. I'm thinking if Nwaneri was in here, we have somebody who can play those corners from that side.
Yes.
But unfortunately,
that's true.
He's not sitting.
And
we have creativity
Marino,
too.
We have creativity.
Even Eze.
He solves 2 problems. Right. Eze can go. Eze could have come in and played those corners from that side for us. But we lost. We didn't have him to play his position, so we were blunt in attack completely. And then our fine margins, we give it up as well.
Yeah,
but then you see the game is won by fine margins.
You're right. Because when it is a game about fine margins, Arsenal uses the set pieces to win those games. When it comes down to it, that's how we get over the hump. When we see that the game is like tight like this, that's what we do. It's just that the set piece this time came for work for Liverpool, because these guys, they headed everything we threw at them, every single
Yes,
ball
no.
out.
Yes, no.
Everything was out.
Everything was just gone. They
And-
figured
So
out how to handle those corners.
Go ahead, Jason.
so let me ask you this, Femi. What would you have changed on the lineup?
I would have brought
How would
in
you have
Waneri
said?
for
Yeah.
Marino.
But that would have been
Oof.
earlier in the second half.
No. I would have
Oof.
started
You started
No,
Marino.
starting
I would have
lineup.
started
Starting lineup.
Waneri instead of
Yes.
Marino. Yes, I would have started Waneri instead of
Oof.
Marino. And we know for a fact. So Martinelli's questionable, right? Here's the deal. We needed him defensively because Salah was going to be on that right hand side, on their right hand side. So debatable, because I can almost guarantee that that's the reason why
That's why he starts
Arteta.
now.
That's why Arteta started him. But
Yeah.
bravery is starting Trossard in that position. Or even if you want to go even further, say Eze, but Eze hasn't played with the team in a long time or whatever. This is important stuff or whatever. So maybe you bring Eze in the second half. But Trossard understands that position. He's played in it a long time. Maybe he doesn't run back as much as possible, but you drill it into him. This is what I need you for. He can do that job for you.
Yeah.
Martinelli was completely useless for us against a makeshift right back in Szoboszlai. And they didn't need to do anything special because he wasn't giving us anything attacking wise. Plain and simple. So what would I have changed? I would have made those two changes.
So
And
Eze
here's the
for
deal. Here's the deal. I'm not even saying we win with those changes. I'm saying I take the results.
Yeah.
As
you give them a
with
fighting
those
chance.
changes. You give them a fighting chance.
you wanted to see something more offensive. Yeah. What would you have done?
I want to see us try. I want to see us try. That's all.
So I mean, I understand why he did what he did. And I know how Arteta thinks as far as like safety first and all that kind of stuff. So what I would say is, for me, I would have still gone with this. I'm okay with this for first half. After you see 45 minutes, nothing is happening. Dude, you gotta take two people off. Martinelli has to come off. Merino has to come off. Those two changes you have to do.
But you know, Arteta has to wait for 60 minutes. At least he's better. Last year, he had to wait for 67, 68.
I know.
This year, he's doing better waiting for 60 to make those changes.
I know. 60 minutes is not even too. It's not bad. You still have 30 minutes to do something. But yeah, so you take this guy out, Martinelli, immediately. Take Martinelli out, bring in Eze, and bring in Waneri for Merino, and just go for it. I wouldn't even Dalman. I mean, he brought in Dalman instead of Waneri. I mean, I but that was when they already scored us. What was he going to do at that point? So that's what I mean. That's what I would have done. Yeah.
I think Arteta has favorites. That's part of the problem. Right?
Yes, he does.
There's something about Waneri that he doesn't particularly like.
I don't think he trusts him.
And I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is.
But why did they give him that contract?
He doesn't trust him defensively. That, to me, that's what I feel.
So my question is, why did they give him that contract?
Because he doesn't want anybody else to get him. The guy has talent for sure.
And use it.
I mean, I hope one day we find out about this real Manuel thing, because it doesn't make sense how he's supposed to be Odegaard's deputy, but Odegaard doesn't play, and then he doesn't play either. He tries to find a different way to shoehorn somebody else in there.
Why would you play Dalman over Waneri?
Over him? Sometimes the reason might make sense. Like, I still think that the Merino choice over Waneri was probably a safe
I thought it was a solid decision.
Yes, I think it was a good decision. Right, but I also think that the substitutions came a little too late.
Definitely.
And I also think that Waneri should have been in the team. Oshoke, for you, what would you have changed on the lineup?
Oh, in the lineup,
or even with the subs.
I would have gone for it from the start. I wouldn't have started Merino. I would have put in Waneri there. And then Martinelli, for me, is a toss-up, because here's my problem with Martinelli. He does that thing, and he's been doing this for the last 4 or 5 years. Look down. Look down, look down, look down, look down, look down, look down, look down. By the time he looks up, his double team, there's nowhere to go.
Martinelli
Look down, push the ball. Look down, push the ball. He doesn't look up.
is a runner. He's not a tricky winger.
But then all they do is they run you to the corner,
Exactly.
and that's the end.
You
That's
sure
all the defenders know how to do that now.
Yeah.
Run into the corner, that's the end.
defenders and midfielders who play as defenders can't do
Apparently, I don't think he dribbled Szoboszlai even once.
Nah, he doesn't.
No.
I'm like, where is the Martinelli that I used to shout, oh, this guy is going to be a problem in a couple years.
If you match Martinelli with pace, if you have pace, he's not going anywhere because all you gotta do is show him down the line. Show him down the line, that's it. And that's what Szoboszlai did the whole game. Just show him down the line. He can't cross with his left. He can't cross with his left, so that's useless. At that point, you might as well just switch Madueke to play left and put in one area on the right.
Yeah, I think that I believe that once Eze can kind of get bedded in, and if Arteta can see a more balanced defensive side of him as well, I think he takes the shirt from Martinelli, because it's very obvious to everybody. It's very obvious to everybody that is like the ball goes to go and shut down. You remember that first half pass to Gyökeres that was
He had a one. He had it was like a 4v4 there we had.
Yeah,
I'm like,
and the worst part of it is that he took the ball out.
Now. He didn't pass the ball. He ran it. He ran it out.
He ran it.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that that left side is still a problem, and the deficiency on the left side allows the other team to restructure their defense, so it now stifles us across the ball. Like
they know they don't have to. They don't have to pay attention to that side. They just focus on the right.
When Eze came in, I could see some immediate flashes of at least beating players on that left side.
But it
kept them honest.
Yeah,
it kept them honest.
I was annoyed at Eze though. He had a chance when he was in the box, and I'm like, why don't you shoot?
Yeah.
He did. He kept that ball.
Forget about that. Forget about even him shooting. When he got the ball, he thought it was offside for some reason, and he paused for like half a second before
and then
he started
came
to
back
run.
I'm like, dude,
before he even started to run. And I'm like, what are you waiting for? Did you hear the whistle or anything? Like, just run.
He had a chance. That was to me, that was the best chance of the game.
Right. But Arteta is hammering on that. Like, we have to execute in those fine margin areas and everything, right? That wasn't anything that we could have planned for. The ball ricocheted to him. The ball ricocheted to him in that position, which is why he was even shocked the ball came to him. So for Arteta to be kind of like hammering on that, like those are one of the motions that we have to finish, and those are the fine margins. Like, no, it wasn't anything from how we were structured, how we're set up to play. It was something that just happened, and then all of a sudden.
But you still have to take those fine margins, because if that ball falls to Salah, we're not talking about fine margins against a goal. More than likely.
I guarantee you, if we had Nwaneri and we had the same number of corners, something would have happened from those corners.
It's one of those things where it's hard to say, man. Supposition. Maybe not. But I mean, I see your point. We did, and we did nothing with it.
Made a huge difference.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah,
you've never seen us be that impotent from corners a whole game before. It was like nothing was happening. They weren't even afraid. They like nobody was sitting. I'm Saliba being injured may have had had a part to play in that, because he plays a huge role in how we disrupt the goalkeeper in the corners. But regardless, it was clear. We had all of last season, we had 4 outswingers. 4. All of last season.
Yes. Yeah. This game we had 7 or 8?
We had 3.
6. Sorry, 6 of them. 6 of them.
Yeah. So, all right. So if I know we've kind of rambled here emotionally, which is rightful, given all circumstances here, we're expecting something different. But to kind of sum up what we're talking about, it looks like Arteta in formation, Arteta in substitutions, Arteta in tactics. Yeah. So, given all of this, I would want to say that I kind of watched the team, and I watched the game again, and I know that I should be mad. Part of me was like, yeah, I need to come out and be mad about the performance, but there's a part of me that is like, I mean, we have a good team, bro. And
The
I think about
performance was not, in fairness,
yeah,
performance was not bad
it,
outside of Martinelli. Performance was not bad.
yeah. There is something about the team. There's a certain level of calmness that I get when I watch the
When I watch,
defense.
yeah. So
There's a certain level of calmness I get when I see Salah struggling or Ekitike where I'm like, geez. There's a certain level of calmness that it just those fine margins that we can tweak. So I want to ask you this, Namdi, because I think we need to kind of talk about this. So uh, looking at we need to highlight certain players. So like looking at the game in its whole totality, what would you say like standout players? Who was up for it? Who wasn't? Like, what are your thoughts about individual performances? Just highlight a few people on when you're watching a game that you want to give a shout out to or not.
I think standout players for sure. We have, for me, it was two people. I have Madueke, and I
Good
have
shout.
Calafiori. So Madueke played ball yesterday. Like that was, it
Yeah.
was almost like he's arguably the man of the match for me on our side. This guy was a threat throughout the game. Always,
That's why we had so many corners from that side, right?
always keeping the defense honest. Always trying to beat the man. Always probing and trying things. So that side had no problem with him. Won corners for us. Basically, he was the reason why we had some form of attacking threat. So he was ready for the game. He was up for it. And I actually feel like he's getting more comfortable with the team in general and with the tactics. I was hammering him the first game, like, man, this guy, I don't know about your defensive instincts. He's gotten a lot. He's gotten a lot better at like helping out in defense. So he's definitely my man of the match.
I mean, the good thing is that he was Timber, he was helping out, right?
Yes.
So
Mhm.
not too much help needed.
Yeah. I mean, you still got to do your job.
Yeah, of course.
Now the next person is Calafiori. Calafiori, he definitely came out to ball. I don't give him enough credit as far as his defensive attributes,
Femi surely doesn't.
but Femi for sure. Femi has an agenda now because the guy na fine. Femi doesn't like that. He's a fine boy. That's why. Anyway,
It's giving him Bellerin vibes.
Well, when I go come on, go the same club now. I know the same babes when I go choose.
Anyway, so he shackled Salah yesterday, and he still was able to go out on his marauding runs in the center, and he actually he won some free kicks. So he carried attacking threat, and he played his position, and it was good. It was solid all around.
Yeah, moved the ball pretty well too.
Moved the
Even in
ball
the midfield.
well. I didn't have any problem with him. He stopped attacks when he could. No problem with him. I just hope he can stay fit throughout the whole season. That's the issue with Calafiori. Everybody keeps saying. I mean, everybody
His
says
pigs could fly.
everybody says he has quality. The problem is we don't see him for more than maybe 5-6 games, and then he's out for like 10 games, and then comes back. So there's no consistency there. So those are like two standout players. I think. I mean, we already know who played rubbish. Martinelli. So to me, I was disappointed in him, but then I'm starting to get used to that. I already know that if we
That's a problem.
and that's the problem. If we're playing any top 4 team, Martinelli starts on the left. I can tell you that 100% of the time, just because Arteta wants that guy to shut down that wing defensively. Problem is, we're not paying him 180K a week to be our best defender.
Fair point.
So
Fair point.
If we don't win this league, you know why, or what some of the reasons. That is why is a big reason. That's why we keep saying the left side has problems. The left side has problems. They need to sort that out. Either you're gonna push Eze to the left or play what's his name? Trossard ahead of Martinelli and just see what happens. I mean, the season is long, so I don't expect Martinelli to start every game, but I can tell you for sure when we play a title rival, which at this point it seems is only Liverpool, that he's going to start.
Yeah.
And also the next person is Gyökeres, but Gyökeres, to me, it's a service thing. If you don't pass the ball to him,
right,
he's not gonna do much. Like we brought
He's
him.
not getting delivery.
Yeah, he's not getting anything. We brought him to finish moves. He's not gonna do it by himself. He can try. I mean, we saw that, but against lower opposition, he's gonna be able to do it. But man, this guy played against Van Dijk and Konate.
Konate.
They are not going to let you bully them or
Yeah,
try.
they're not going to run past them
They are
like
fast.
they're not there.
Exactly. They're fast and they're strong. He's gonna have a problem playing with those kind of people. But you have to feed him pass. Like we saw that 4v, the 4v4 we had, a simple ball through into his path, and that's it. One time shot.
But Martinelli.
Exactly. So
Yeah, I mean
that's my take on this. But I agree with you when you say the fine margins and all that, because our team is solid. Back in the day, we'd be worried about how many goals we would chop. Now
between
I'm
David
like,
Luiz and
yeah. So we've come a long way. It's
Don't remind me, please.
Exactly, we've come a long way. This is a solid team. When we play against big boys, I'm just like, I'm not afraid. What I want is, I want to feel like we are going to beat them, not that we are going to stop them.
Yeah.
I'm tired of seeing us trying to stop them. Let's beat these people. Let's go there confidently and say, okay, we're going to beat these people. Because I feel like every time we play these big guys, it's usually like, maybe if somebody gets a red card, that's when we hammer them. I want us to go and lay down a marker and say, we're going to play Liverpool. We are going to beat you 2-0.
Yes. Well, at least force them to play to our rhythm.
Yeah.
Liverpool has conceded over 6 goals in 2 games. When they played us, they kept the clean sheet. Why? The attacks that they face, are they better than us? No. But we play them a certain way. That's the thing. The game was about 2 teams respecting themselves too much. Both teams didn't want to lose.
Yes,
because
that was actually very clear.
Liverpool didn't go for it. Too. They didn't go for it.
No, they didn't.
They tried to.
Femi,
Femi, you disagree? Did they go for it?
No, they tried to.
Before we come to that, anyway, Femi, go ahead and answer this question. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Casey.
No, I want to get your feedback on the players. Like, who are your standouts and who are your? I mean, we've kind of beat the whole Martinelli thing to death. I know Shoki has been hemming and humming about that the whole time, and even on the group chat. But like, what are your? Who are your standouts?
Okay, if I want to talk about standouts, Madueke was definitely there. The number one person I would want to call out, sorry, and before we even go to that, I don't get Wala with Calafiori. Calafiori is the guy.
You guys have heard it. He has said it himself.
I don't have an issue with Calafiori. I think he played pretty good. My issue with Calafiori is more, I feel like he's stunting MLS's growth by holding that position. I feel like we can get more out of MLS in that left back position, and that's why I keep complaining about it more than anything else. But that aside, standout for me, I think I'll call out Mosquera primarily, right?
Great shout.
Him coming in with Saliba getting injured and keeping everything, shutting everything down, being solid defensively. He was nervy going forward, but that's expected. You know, it's a big. It's a big
Liverpool.
game.
It's
Liverpool. It's Liverpool at Anfield at the big stage. I can see him getting jittery and all that. But when it counted, when it mattered the most, he did what needed to be done. I will also call out Rice to a certain degree. Rice was all over the field in this game.
Like he was running.
He was mopping up stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
He was all over the place, right? But that's all we can expect from Rice. We can expect him to be the engine, to run, to be all over the place, to mop up, to kind of drive things forward a little bit here and there. But
that free kick though.
It was Bruno.
It happens. It happens to the best of us. So I don't even count that against him. My issue is we need more, right? We need him to drive the ball forward. We need him to pass. Namdi talked about Gyökeres and service. He's not getting service. Why is he not getting service? Primarily, we've talked about the tactics or whatever, but there's no midfield there to actually. He's not getting service. There's no link. There's no link in the midfield to give him the service. He's not receiving the ball to his feet. Nothing is coming from the sides because Martinelli cannot give service on that side. Madueke did his best on this side or whatever, but it didn't really result in anything. And when everything is coming from one corner, they can
They just double
concentrate
up.
on
Yeah.
they double up on that side, and then we can't do anything. And so
Mhm.
the option then is to play through the center, but we don't have that, especially because of tactics. And that is where Rice is supposed to shine, right? If he can drive the ball forward, get some service to Gyökeres, we would see more there. So that's my other problem with that's my call out. In terms of who I was most disappointed with, Zubimendi. I don't know if you guys remember the first half when Van Dijk bullied him off the ball. Raya was trying to play out. Van Dijk bullied him off the ball and then got the ball from
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
And then they almost scored from that. Everybody was last ditch defending. We got
That
that
was a
ball
bad
away.
pass, though.
Yeah, that was a bad pass to him, though.
It was a really bad pass.
He was really, really sorry. Van Dijk literally just moved him out of the way. Like
I
he
mean,
wasn't
look
there.
at their
Look
size
at the
difference.
size difference now.
It
Come
was,
on,
it was
boy.
a bad
Come
pass.
on.
Mhm.
Are you
That
blaming
was
him
a
for being?
suicide pass.
Are you blaming him for being small?
Yes, I am actually. No. I am. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if we're gonna play that double pivot and he's going to be in that position, he needs to be a little stronger. That's what I'm saying.
It's gonna
Yes,
happen.
And
but here's the
then
problem.
and then the free kick that led to the goal was directly his fault.
We've already argued about that one.
It was yes, we've argued about that. We're talking about standouts and who I was
Okay.
disappointed with. I was disappointed with Zubimendi for those two particular reasons. We could have conceded on the first one, and the second one we certainly conceded on that one, and that's how we lost the game. End of story.
That first, I blame Raya for that one. He even
Yes, that was all right.
held up his
That
hand
was
and
all
said,
right.
"Dude, that was my bad.
Mhm.
But terrible pass.
Terrible pass." So I can't even fault Zubi for that.
And
That's
Raya has like 2 or 3 terrible passes every
In
game.
every game.
Yeah.
He has like 2 or 3.
But
every
he
game.
gives you a lot too on the other side. It's kind of like
Yeah, he
balance,
does.
right?
But
It's
he
a
has
risk.
like 2 or
It's a
3.
risk reward.
This can ruin
It's
the
a
game.
risk
passes.
reward. Very well said, Namdi. Oshoke, we've talked Martinelli to death. Even Namdi's repping his jersey for
I think
for
anybody
consolation
can
sake.
play for Brazil, so I decided that I'll wear this one today.
Yeah, even Luis
So
played for Brazil, right?
my other player that I feel like it's not because he played bad, but it's that he was non-existent. Merino.
Mm.
He didn't play bad. You couldn't really say, well, Merino didn't do this or he messed up here. But the problem is he also didn't do well anywhere.
Yeah.
It was like he was just a body, just to be there. He wasn't even pressing like you would have expected him to. He wasn't creating anything. That position that he is, he came in for somebody who is creating every game, trying to string passes through. He was doing none of that.
But
He was just there.
That's not his game. That's just it. That's not his game.
I'm not blaming him for it because obviously that's not his game. But he was put in a position where he disappeared. He just didn't exist in the game.
Yeah, I mean,
And
like
then
we said,
standout, obviously, Madueke did exceptionally well. Calafori did well. Mascara did great. Timber, as usual, he's solid. He did what he needed to do. But, that's it for me.
Yeah. If I was doing a player
So-
rating, everybody gets a 6. And then Martinelli gets a 4.
And maybe Madueke gets a 7.
Yeah, maybe
Right.
Madueke gets
Yeah.
a
Maybe Calafori too.
One last
Okay.
point. One last
So-
point I would like to address
Go ahead.
really quickly. We talk about the first half. We controlled the first half. We can all agree that we controlled the first half.
Yes.
But our control of the first half was not in driving the ball forward. It was moving the ball side to side, doing
Mhm.
all that, doing all our midfield nonsense that we do side to side and all the way back. When they controlled the midfield in the second half, it was dropping in behind our midfield,
Yeah, very
and driving
purposeful.
forward. Very, very direct, very purposeful. So when you guys when you guys talk about like I can't remember who was asking or whatever. That's the difference. That was the difference between when they controlled the game and when we controlled the game. When we controlled the game, it was with
It was
keep the ball,
It was a lot of
hold the ball.
sterile possession.
It was a lot of sterile possession.
Pass back to
their-
Raya, pass to Mascara, pass to Gabriel.
right. Whereas their possession was more purposeful and more direct.
You know, I don't think Liverpool came to win this game. If you ask me also, I would say that it was probably 55 to 45 in terms of desire to win the game. The margins were small. I would say that they kind of got second half. They had that little bit of mojo moving, going forward, and then whatever happened there, and then they scored the goal. But at the end of the day, I mean, Liverpool didn't come all out either.
Yeah,
I
if you
think that
check
Think
we are
about
taking
this.
we
the
are taking
eggs,
more flack for this whole thing than we actually should.
that's
Should
because
Arteta
But
have
think
been more
about this.
offensive? I think so. But Liverpool as well. I mean, they were scared, and
that's
they're playing at
because
home.
the
But they came
narrative
out with
the,
their best foot.
the narrative
I don't think so.
goes against us because we are supposed to be the ones who are like, that we're supposed to be the ones trying to win it from them. They don't have anything to prove anymore because they beat us to the title. We have
Right.
to
But
we have
but
look,
they also want to hold their title. I
yeah.
mean, they're
So
coming as defending champions.
but
They
none of
so
them
want
what
to
should
hold.
so what I'm saying is that the narrative goes that Arsenal didn't come. If both teams say they didn't come to win, right? The media will go against Arsenal and be like, yeah, but you guys are supposed to be trying to wrest this title away from these guys. You can't be. You have to take risks. You got to
Right,
take
and
So
risks.
rightly so. That's what
so
bravery is.
I asked
That's
my
what
But think
in-law a
courage
about
is.
question.
this. What do
I
you
asked
think
him.
Liverpool could have done differently?
What do you think you could have done?
Tactics, formation, lineup. What could they have done differently?
I think they played their strongest team.
They came out with their
They
best
came out with
foot.
their best foot.
Exactly. And
But
we're not giving ourselves enough credit defensively, which is where we are good
that
at.
is that
We shut them
we shut them down for sure.
we shut them down, and that's the reason why it seemed like they weren't going for it. But when push came to shove,
Yeah,
they
we
found
shut
a way
them down.
through.
Yeah,
I
they came out with their best
that
foot. There's
game.
nothing they could have done differently. They couldn't have come out any stronger.
If
That
you
was it.
if you play that game 10 times, nine out of 10 is a draw, 0-0.
So I
That's
asked.
0-0
With
game.
that same lineup,
I-
With
yes.
that same lineup,
I
is a 0-0.
asked my brother-in-law
If we
is
came out more
staunch.
offensive, probably we win 6 out of 10.
My brother-in-law is a staunch Liverpool fan, and I asked him. I was like, "Do you think that you guys deserve to win this game?" He said, "I don't think we did, but that free kick deserved to win the game." And I think that was a good summary.
Yeah.
It really,
Agreed.
because
But those are the
without that,
margins we are talking about.
those are the fine margins, right? And
Right.
it goes to show you that they also didn't come out. I think that they could have done better, and they also didn't come out.
No,
to
they were
necessarily
disappointed in
blow.
their team. At least for the
Yeah.
first half,
Yeah.
they were disappointed. We quieted the crowd, so I give us credit for that. Because I
Yep.
mean, that's why I said I didn't mind seeing Merino there. But then it's
Yep.
what you
We
do.
did well. We just
is
had nothing
it's
going
what
forward.
you do after that. Because you can't keep people away for only so much. When the quality is, if there's a higher level of quality, you will be found out at some point. And that's
Yep.
just it. They
All of-
have somebody who could do that.
Yep. All of this is just to say that, we are very passionate about our team. And I think that we would never come out from a game and say we did our best, especially when we lose. We always see that there's definitely a whole lot more to improve. But I still think that it's early doors and there's hope. And I believe that the title is ours to lose, given the performances of Liverpool and given the performances of all the people around us. I know it's still early, but I kind of think so. I know we need to kind of hurry up and get this podcast out because I know our fans are really ready to listen. But just one last thing to touch on, since today is the end of the transfer window. It looks like we're able to get a couple players out, not the way we wanted. It looks like Fabio is out to Hamburg, as well as Sambi, Kivio, and that price though. To Porto, of course. What is a Arsenal window without another defender? So we have Piero coming in. Zinchenko's out, went to Forest. That's going to be interesting.
Finally.
Yeah. Nelson to Brentford and Calhain, I think, to Bremen. That happened a while ago. So just any...
The summary of all of those transfers is we only got money for Kivior, and the others were undisclosed because they are too ashamed of the money that they got for those guys. And everybody else was a loan. So for me, we don't know how to sell players, and we still don't know how to sell players.
No,
That's the summary.
Yeah,
No, we don't.
and I hope that with our new sporting director, I kind of hope that with the good things he has done on the incomings, because this is unprecedented, let's hope that maybe the next season, by January or so, we'll start seeing something else on the outgrades. All we can do is hope, right? Again, not my money, so whatever they want to do is no problem. Yeah. So, fellas, great having you guys on again. Thank you so much for your time. Listeners, we're always happy to present the show to you.
Before you end,
what's
what
our
about
next game?
what about the predictions for next game?
Yeah,
So
what's
I was
our-
thinking about this. So because of time, right? This is our next game is not for another 2.5 weeks, 2 weeks. So maybe we'll throw one episode here before our next game, before we get back from international break. and we can talk about predictions and maybe do a deep analysis on one of a couple of our players. Yeah, maybe even a preview with Champions League and stuff coming on. Now we know the draws, we know the groups and all of that. So maybe we can do one episode depending on everyone's schedule. Yeah. Gunpowder Banter. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, subscribe, hit the bell, and so that once we release episodes, you would find out about it. And we always appreciate you listening to us, taking your time out of your day to listen to us. Very appreciated. 4 friends, 4 Gunner fans, 4 Gunner fans for life. Thank you again. Good night. Thanks, fellas.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good night.